Betsy. Or may not join.
I just saw Betsy, she might not be able to make it.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. Call the meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Environmental Commission of the Borough of Fairhaven. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public meetings may be held in person or by means of communication equipment to include streaming services and other online meeting platforms. This meeting is being held in person and through the Zoom meeting platform being broadcast from Borough Hall, 748 River Road. Public participation for this meeting on March 12th, 2025 is available by call and phone number or through Zoom. Members of the public will be on mute until it is time for questions or comments, which will be announced. At that time, the public has the opportunity to question, comment by phone or through Zoom by the raise hand button and will be called on at an appropriate time. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Star Ledger on January 31st, 2025. Posted on the Borough website, the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. With adequate notice having been given, the Environmental Commission Secretary is directed to include this statement in the meeting minutes. Great. Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, guys. Good to see everyone. Christy, you want to help us with roll call?
Sean Bailey,
Present.
Kelly Flanagan,
Present.
Anna Antonin,
Here.
William Dorner, absent, Susan Lovett,
Here.
Jesse Murray, absent, Don Palinetti,
Here,
Gary Patterson, absent, John Peters,
Here.
also present Councilman Lombard-Vera, Borough Secretary Christy Larson, you have a quorum.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is last month's meeting minutes, which were circulated by email. Any comments or questions? Can I get someone make a motion to approve?
I make a
Actually, I have to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Yes.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Slow.
Thank you. Cool, let's go into current business. So, just a couple items to touch base on, the ERI. Is there a meaningful update?
I believe that it was circulated, right, Christy?
Yep.
The latest version. We did some formatting and brought it up to speed in terms of resolving some of the comments that were in there. There's still a little more content that needs to be done,
Okay.
but what it looks like from a visual standpoint is probably what it's going to look like going forward. So it's a real document now. So then we just have to, I think some of the, Jesse's already been in there, in the Word doc, so then I'll transfer it over to the final document that I've been working on.
Okay.
And then, we have to go through and
Some
mark.
minutes and,
Yeah, some of the
But it's-
figures, that sort of stuff, but it's pretty much.
Yeah.
It's getting there. So if you had a chance to look at it, would love your feedback on the visuals and all that stuff, so.
Okay.
sure, content too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to add a piece on the green team, so that's missing.
Oh.
Okay, but we can do that easy. That'll be under, probably the history and culture, I think. Section, okay. So yeah, there it is.
There it is.
That looks great, guys.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a
Yeah.
picture. That's a picture Susan took. So I
Okay.
incorporated a ton of her wonderful pictures into the final document. The front and back are Susan's. I thought they were so telling
great.
of the town. So this is, it's a pretty big beast. It's about 45 pages, maybe 48 pages. So, yeah, it's a lot of local pictures. Some we have to cite, but for the most part, we're in a good spot with it.
Yeah.
So,
It's accessible. We're excited about that because I think the tone of it and visually, people will make people want to read it. So,
Well, it looks enticing to read,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's the goal.
rather than such a dry,
Mhm.
report.
Yep,
Yeah, most of the pages feature photography.
I love it.
Having read it now 10 times, it is easy to read. It's easier to read. So, yeah, this will probably be its current form.
Is there any way to, that we plan to highlight this and get it into residents' hands, people's hands, for, like commissions? Like, can we highlight this at Love Where You Live Day?
Yeah.
And like have it printed
Yeah,
and
we
people
can
can
bind
look
it.
at it?
You can make a poster out of it pretty easy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if you wanted a larger format picture of the front cover.
Yeah,
yeah,
Right.
you can
Put that
download
up, put that
QR.
up, yeah. You
right.
can like post it in the Borough Hall.
And
or
then the
something like
QR codes go, but
Download
but you should have a copy of it in the library.
It's gonna live in the library, it says that in there, yeah.
Right, but, just so that people could flip through and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know, and look at these,
Yeah, it's definitely digestible.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to kind of get through. So that was the design
Mhm.
intention of the white space and everything broken out into different all their different entities. So we think that this is kind of a good step forward for how it will live.
I think it's great, but yeah, definitely like, we can highlight all this great work and this resource at Love Where You Live Day.
Yeah, we're good for
Um,
that. That sounds great. We could print out the front cover.
I wonder if that's also on the topic of one of the topics of our EC table. Highlighting
Yeah,
that and this resource. Maybe.
Sure.
We could talk about Love Where You Live Day and what the EC table is gonna be.
Yeah.
But could be just. What the EC does, and this is one of the big resources and all that,
Mhm.
I love it.
um,
And the last page is also, if you want to go there,
Yeah,
nice to
nice.
that. It's Susan's. It's just so pretty. I loved it. It should be the final
I
one.
feel like it's like a note card money.
This is the last one.
Oh, it is? Oh, no. Oh,
You gotta put it in there.
I'll get it back there.
Page 45
Sorry.
is missing.
45 is missing, and it's the nicest one. So it's a beautiful picture of sailboats, but it just kind of puts a bow on it. So,
Love it.
yeah.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank
This
you.
has come so far from where we started. I think you guys did a great job taking on feedback, raising the bar a little bit. Like, this is so much better than what we started with.
Right. Yeah.
So,
The content was, Jesse, and John, your maps were fantastic. So all of that has been.
You haven't even gotten the good ones yet. I'll make you even better.
Well, let's go.
Right.
I'm
Just
ready.
cut- If there
You were
is, that's
testing.
what I need is just you need a location and tell me what you want.
Great.
I'll get it done this week.
So this is the Fourth Creek watershed?
I got a map, John, at the Fourth Creek watershed. Do we have it? Do we need it?
Yeah,
Can you
we
update
can
it? Can
update
we
it, yeah.
add all the
Oh, yeah,
different
no
type of
problem.
watersheds, all the different.
I gave
stuff?
you streams, I gave you ponds, I mean, we're happy to give you
Yeah.
whatever. I can give you what, I can give you whatever.
I did, this was.
it's like you guys are bargaining here.
Yeah, we are.
No, it's like, it's more like, what do you want? It's like a buffet. It's like, what do you
Well,
want?
You know,
I'm
I
happy to-
don't even know where to start, so.
I know.
No, but if you.
Bonnie did. Bonnie was very.
We did, your name came up yesterday too, and we're like, we have a really good map guy.
We got a guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I would
Whatever
say
you want, yeah, let's just make it a reflected plan this week to get it done.
Cool.
Just, I'll-
It will remain editable.
No, but
So
I wanna
it's
keep
in
it get it
Canva.
in place, so we have a nice looking finish.
It's on my.
But here's the
Canva
only
account.
question I have. Can I ask this question?
Sure.
Do you want any titling on the maps? All I have is a north arrow and
I
scale
think we
bar.
ought to title all the artwork.
You should.
Okay,
title
all of
that.
that.
No, but I mean, you can title it in the
Right,
document.
definitely.
I'm just saying on the actual
Yeah.
element, do you
Good with
want
that,
the name
yeah.
of it?
Well, you're gonna have a little, blurb about, right, like about each map and.
It'll be a figure.
It'll be a figure.
It'll be a figure, that's what I'm saying.
None of
I'll-
that's in there.
I will
caption,
just
right?
give you a TIFF, or what do you want, a TIFF, a JPEG?
Probably a PNG or a JPEG.
PNG or JPEG, okay. And then wouldn't have any labeling other than the scale bar, which is a standard thing, and then a north arrow.
If you go through it, John, and you see
Yeah.
maps that you can update that are old that I may have pulled from the
All right,
previous
I'll do that, yeah.
screenshot, we'll take
This is
them.
very.
Very good,
Thank you.
my pleasure.
But it's editable, it's in Canva, so we can share the link if people need to go, if I'm eventually
want the
not on
boundaries
the
of the
EC, like we
watershed?
could do that too. Someone can have it and have
Well,
it.
I'd like to, yeah, so I think from here, I'd like to focus on what you guys started to talk about, how do we
Distribute.
share it?
Mhm.
And so I think a physical binder or a couple of them bound is a good start. I like the poster with the QR code is a great teaser to get people to.
Does anybody have a QR code? Can we create
We
it?
can make one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we create a QR code and you send me the thing, I'll see if I can Get it done.
And then if there are, some of that artwork is really fantastic, if we can get some of those snippets with a little bit of copy, we can start putting some social through the Green Team channel.
Yeah.
We can make something for Betty Ann to put out with next week's. We can do it on a weekly thing, we could do it on the quarterly as well.
Yeah.
But I think let's set, if we still need a little bit of time for the material, let's set like end of the month, it's gotta be out there.
We should be done by then.
Yeah,
We're like.
I can get you that green
Yeah,
tea.
we're at that, we're very close.
Right.
so.
The
Honestly,
last-
just a few.
The last 2% is always the hard
I
thing.
know.
I know.
But we're there.
The finish line is in sight.
Yes.
So that would be, yeah, so that's what I'd like to see us do. Is that something you guys are comfortable taking that next step with it
Totally.
too? and-
Yeah.
And getting it ready
Yeah.
to share in that
Definitely.
format.
Great. We're good at that.
We should also, do you think every member of the council should get a hard copy and the
Yes.
planning board? I mean,
The planning board should certainly read it.
I mean, then we're like making all this paper.
I would say,
On us.
I know.
hey, Sean,
Flash drive for 'em.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, we can hear you.
hey, first and foremost, phenomenal work, well done. I think it's an extremely well done document. It's fun to read just because it has so much rich information. Planning board, zoning board, land use, all this, shade, green, everybody I think should get a copy of it. Because it's such a wealth of information. And I think when you pair this with the master plan, you guys mentioned the ATP in here, I think it just further strengthens the perspective that everybody needs to take when grounding their decisions. So as far and wide as you can blast it to the different groups, I think is critical. I think Christy can help with that, but I think the more the better. Nice job.
Let's do it. Yeah, I think by the next meeting, definitely. I mean, Jesse's already working on a
Yeah,
few things.
right.
We'll just finish a few things up and be done.
March was our deadline.
It was?
Yeah,
Well, then,
It's there.
it's still within the,
I know, so I'm saying by the end of March, we're still.
we will have it done by the end of March.
Oh, okay.
That's our promise.
We
to
can
you.
then get it off, something off the agenda.
I know.
Yeah, and
2017.
next month, if you wanna work on, like, if we wanna take
It's
a
been
more
on
of
ever since I've
a,
been here.
Yeah.
take some creative options for like the poster and all that, if you wanna bring that back at the next meeting, and you want our opinion on it, like, that's fine.
Yeah, cause then Lovely Yellow Days, right?
Early April. Okay, great.
Perfect.
Well, when is lovely?
April 27th.
Okay, so it'll be.
I'll pull the pictures out.
So,
that you sent that I
Yeah,
missed in
I have
there.
a file.
Anything else with BRI? John or Drew, anything else to add before we move on?
I'm
good.
There's
Yep,
two
mine.
Clear. Sorry.
JP.
And JP.
There's two JPs.
You can call me JP for now on if that makes it easier.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Not JP too.
Peter's for holiday.
All right, Kelly, did you want to give an update? In New Jersey, where we got to with the deadline and what's
Yep,
next?
so I believe I said it last time, right? We did submit it on time with 215 points, which is great. It's good first step, but let's not forget that we have our second round, and we need to get to the 350. So we have to keep submitting those actions. If you signed up for some of those actions that wasn't included in the first round, I asked if you could take a look at that. I know, John, I wasn't here in January, but I know that there was some firehouse actions that seemed attainable because it looks like the firehouse probably does most of that anyway. It would just need,
Correct.
yeah, if you wanted help documenting that or just how to get that onto the, to log in, I'm happy to meet with you at some point and kind of.
Absolutely.
Okay, because that would be easy, 3 or 4 different actions right there, but, so just encourage the members here, if you have still outstanding, actions, please just keep working on it in the background here, so that we can meet our 350 goal by May for the next round. And happy to meet with anybody about that,
We're at 215,
215,
no, we need 350.
yeah.
350, but what's the target date for the next?
It is May 20. I can find that out.
You did 25th?
Is it, no, that's another important date, but it's not that. My birthday.
Patty's birthday, everyone.
Please, my birthday.
Please add that into the meeting
Do
minutes.
it, do it right there, yes. Okay, so, yeah, application cycle, it is,
Kelly, are you making assignments or specific requests, or are we just?
People did sign up for it, so you're doing the green business seal, I have all that information, it's just a matter of uploading that into.
Oh, right. I uploaded it.
You did upload it to there, okay, then you should be fine.
Not me specifically.
Second round, May 16th. May 16th, third round, and third and final, July 31st. So we will get our comments from our first round by early April. At that point, they'll say, yes, all those points were approved, or no, do you have to add a couple of different other ones? May 16th is round 2, and then that will come back with final comments, or return comments in mid-June. And then at that point, we have another month and a half for July 31st.
So if we didn't submit under a specific category, we can't open it up now?
No, we can still do it now, but it will, and we can, that's why it's like a rolling basis. You can put it up and say complete
Mhm.
and not touch it, but it will be counted for the May 16th.
Okay.
Yeah, so happy to, and perhaps I can even come up with like a time where kind of a working, we talked about that, right, Drew? We talked about like a little work in progress here. We all just collaborate and try to knock out as much as we can. And Drew, some of those things with like the fleet inventory, some of those other things we can connect to offline and just see where we are with that.
Yeah, copy that. Well done on meeting the deadline, and now we have some extra time. I think now
Okay.
doing that coordination, whatever night we pick of the week to do something would be best
Yeah.
served.
Okay.
So I'll shoot you a call. We'll set some time up to level set, come up with a plan, and then we'll start implementing.
Yeah, sounds great.
So if we know where the gaps are,
Yes.
then we can jump in.
And there's still, right, and there's still stuff that Betty Ann is able to help out with us. I have to say a very big thank you to Christy. She got all the all the tree ordinance. I think it was a whopping 60 or 70 points that she did by herself, so.
Right.
We wouldn't be in this situation without Christy, so we really, really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much.
No problem.
She gets an ice cream.
Yeah. So that's great. That's out. Now, yeah, so that's everything with Sustainable New Jersey.
Would it be worth, I know that there was that spreadsheet we kind of used to set
Yes.
up and, people kind of said I could do this. Is it worth just like sending that out again?
I could send that out again. I could
Everybody
also
just as a
do like
reminder.
a reminder, you signed up for this, yes.
And then, and whether you want to do now or wait until you set up a couple dates with
Sure.
Drew, I think it just keep it fresh in people's mind
Yep.
every 2 or 3 weeks. would
Sure.
Probably,
A reminder,
Be
how's it
helpful.
going?
I know it's a little bit
Right.
administrative. but-
Okay,
Streetscape stuff will be in April.
perfect, great.
Exciting.
Yeah, there's some creative projects that we can do.
Yeah.
As well for that stuff, so we'll have to find where it fits.
Right.
What category,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I can look
definitely,
into it.
perfect, great. And Green Fair is one of like our Love Where You Live Day. I don't know if you want me to talk about this now. I don't see it on the agenda, but I can always bring it up after.
Cool, yeah, let's
Okay.
go through this stuff and then we'll come back to it.
Great.
All right. Anything else on Sustainable Jersey?
No, I just, do we have the list so I can take a look at what because I was looking at the innovative projects, I think we might find a
Okay.
thing or two that we could add.
I can resend you
I
the,
might have it, just, did
the
you send it to
spreadsheet.
me, Christie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also, in
Appreciate
terms of Sustainable Jersey, just another update, they always have a fantastic summit at the end of their, like always in May. It's May 9th this year at Homedale Bell Works. It's really a fascinating place where you can go hear what other towns are doing, success stories. You can meet a bunch of different vendors, find out what's available, what resources are available. It's a wonderful day for both sustainable jerseys for town and sustainable jersey for schools. In the past, we've always sent a few members of the green team usually that have always gone. I do encourage other people to want to come. I would love to have council members or the mayor or whoever, because you do get a lot of people in government as well showing up to this. It's a fascinating networking, great opportunity. I don't know what our budget is. There is a fee to this to send people, but usually in the past, Christy, we've always had some money to send some folks
Yeah,
that are
I've
interested.
done a purchase order for the 2 or 3 that attend,
Okay,
so.
but definitely, if this is something that interests you, put on your radar and your calendar, and it just was released that it's May 9th at Bellworks. It's usually all day, which is, it's very convenient for us right here.
Very convenient.
Yeah. So, I mean, some people travel from all over New Jersey,
South
to go there,
Jersey.
yes.
Probably drive, by the way,
Right,
because it is New Jersey and we have it in a place with no transit access.
yeah,
But I'm not gonna get angry about it, but I'm gonna tell you
good.
that, maybe I should do the carbon footprint of this event.
maybe you said
You know what I'm saying? I love this, because that's a crazy place to do.
it.
It's nice, but it's
huge.
crazy.
It's got a lot of,
Yeah, but you
semi
can't.
rooms, okay.
Trenton, or New Brunswick, or Newark, or,
How do we get to Trenton?
I'm
You have
Trenton,
to try.
you can take a train.
You take a train from here to
No,
Trenton?
I mean, this is my point, whenever we talk about getting rid of cars,
Right.
remember how important they are. and
We can
how-
all take a train to Hoboken. I mean, I could.
No, it's
Like,
very
city,
difficult
but
in New Jersey,
plus
really.
Newark, Yeah,
Yeah, but it's an area that's almost no trains
I get
here.
it.
This is my thing, you know what I mean?
I
I'm
get
always, I don't worry about recycling, I don't worry about
Carbon
leaf blowers,
Everybody
it's all
has
gone.
something, right?
It's all gone.
Put that on.
Are we good?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
So new business. Green Garden Project.
All right, Quinn.
Hi, Quinn.
Hi, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Quinn Rapp. I'm a junior at RFH.
Thank you
Right
for
now,
joining us tonight, Quinn.
thank you. Can I stand here? Is this okay?
Whatever you want,
Yes.
yeah, you can sit down too.
Sorry, I'll
That's fine.
pick out my feet here. So right now I'm working with the Clean Ocean Action Seal, organization and program is the word. Working with the program, and I'm hoping to make my project a rain garden here in our town of Fairhaven. I know that stormwater is a very perceivable issue here that I know a lot of you guys have probably dealt with in the past. And I am hoping to help with that with a rain garden. Right now I'm working on locations, viable locations. The 2 main ones that I've gone down to are the Mosaic, where the animal hospital was, on River Road, I guess, and outside of the Fairhaven Martial Arts Dojo. Kind of leaning away from that one because it's held by a Philadelphia property business, a little bit harder to communicate with. But future question for you guys, I know you guys are doing like kind of a revamp of the planters on River Road. And I heard that you might do one across from the Mosaic Garden. So, logistically wise, impact wise, I was wondering if you guys thought that having a rain garden across the street from that would just not be as beneficial as having it in maybe another location. I'm basing all this on a study that Rutgers did under Cindy Ziff and Clean Ocean Action. So, we've got a couple other potential spots, especially if we need to change up the project a little bit. We've got plan Bs and such things like that. So anyway, I'm just here, you're probably wondering, why is he talking to us? I'm just here asking for just general support. I'm gonna need, the kind of expertise. You guys probably have a lot more experience in the field than I do. And so, if anybody wants to participate, I'm super open to collaboration. Yeah.
It's a good
Very
attitude.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Let's take a look at a couple locations, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we
Yeah.
poke around and see what we can come up with?
Okay, so I think that's, that's the tough part, is a lot of these locations are private property.
Yeah.
So how far have you reached out to both landlords or property owners for Mosaic and the other one?
Sure, yeah, so because of what I was just saying about Mosaic's location, we reached out to the Karate Dojo property owners first.
Okay.
We're gonna give them a few days, and if they don't respond, we're gonna reach out to Mosaic.
Okay.
We know the property owner is a lot more local, and, you know, we're hoping maybe they wanna take part in some community effort, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I
Who
think
owns
they might.
Mosaic? Is it the doctor? Does she own it?
Right, it's from Red Bank. She lives in Red Bank, right? Isn't she?
She lives in Red Bank, but she's currently not, she's on a leave. So that kind of slowed that down a little bit too.
Hmm.
Right.
She's not actively working at that location.
And those are both private properties. I do see the beneficial of a private property because you don't have to go through the borough steps.
Hmm.
You know, there is
Yeah,
less
absolutely.
red tape,
I'm just, but
right?
is a
Unless
property
you
owner
get to
here,
somebody, right,
who's gonna be receptive?
right.
Yeah.
There are other locations,
Yeah.
on
that's-
that map.
Some other locations, if you wanna talk about public property, I know we have the firehouse. There's one near Fairhaven Fields, it would be a little bit different logistic.
The middle flower.
No, I know, but also in Fairhaven Fields,
Oh,
there's one, it's not exactly a rain garden,
okay.
it's a little bit of a different type of thing.
Okay.
But if no other options, I can look into it. But yeah, like Ms. Flanagan just said, there's definitely more steps with public property with the borough and everything. I'm assuming the council
And what is your, is there a specific timeline?
timeline, yes. So for my program, I am legally required to have this all, you know, nailed down by May, not necessarily built, but just, you know,
Fine.
planned out, ready to go, just so I have proof of doing something. You know what I mean?
Right.
End of May, beginning of May, a certain day in May?
I believe it's May 14th,
Okay.
but give or take a couple days,
You got 2 months.
2 months, essentially.
Okay, right, because I mean, even if, so. I'm just like, I'm looking back at the study right now, it's been a while since I visited the study. But if those two locations, you know, if you have a hard time reaching out to those landlords, I just wonder, you know, like, what other. You know, places might be more amenable,
I think that's the challenge we're sitting at.
right?
Yeah,
So John Palinetti, the other JP who's on the
Yes.
call, we're both on the fire department, which has been, that is also on the list.
It is in the list, yeah.
And we just recently, at a meeting, decided that we would do some grounds reconfiguring in terms of what the grounds of the department will look like, and John and we were just talking about it, having a rain garden there, you know, that's, you know, technically private property, so we could figure out a way to do that as well. I think it would be a good spot. We'd have to worry about, you know, barricading it for the fair, which we do for the memorial there, in the front. But finding a spot on the fairground, on the firehouse grounds could be a nice place, so keep that in your.
Right now, I don't believe that what's on the records is just a rain barrel. I don't believe that there's an actual rain garden, if
It's
my
the
memory
site
serves.
is
and, you know, you're right, but it's my personal opinion, if you look at, you know, common denominators of all the other ones, they're all looking for that roof and the rain spout that leads into that grassy area. And, you know, when I'm looking at the fire station, I definitely think it has some of those features, and so, you know, we still have communication with
Right.
Rutgers. You know, I'm working under Cindy Ziff, who got it in the first place, so if I need a new location, we're hoping that Rutgers would be open to maybe drawing up different plans.
There's like Fisk AMU on there, general, the Boynton and Boynton Insurance, have you talked to them? Or that used to be the Boynton and Boynton, now it's like the Cedar
Cedar Commons.
Commons.
We kind of, because of, before we knew that karate was
Right, because I mean, you have
That's
connections with karate,
Yeah.
you've taken, right, I understand why you'd wanna also do that, because it's a place where many kids down go to,
Yes, it's fine.
you know, it's very visible.
But Boynton and Boynton could be a good plan B.
Yeah, because
Where-
right
where
across,
is
right
that?
there.
Right across the
Right
street
across the
from
street.
the dojo.
Oh,
It's
that's what that is?
big
Yeah,
building. It's not.
it used to be Boynton.
I've
Back in
never-
2017.
I've never known what that was my whole life.
It's an office
The
building.
big white building.
Yeah. But that could be, I don't know who owns that, but that could be another one to look into. It's kind of.
You want to do a rain garden,
Yeah. But
so it also could be bank restoration or something like that.
like a living shoreline.
Yeah.
Normandy
No.
Park, we're losing,
What's the matter?
we're losing money by we're losing.
No, it'd just be
Shoreline,
planting,
right?
it'd just be
Right.
plantings, I mean, you know, like there's a whole series of plantings. You don't like mud? It's good.
I love living shorelines. No, I've been talking about living shorelines for so long now, so it's like, oh, but, yeah.
Okay, no, because, I've been talking to the Fairhaven Sailing Club, the River Rats.
Yeah.
About perhaps working with the commission to do some improvements
Great, oh,
with the property is actually only a small part of the property, it's about half of it is used for the actual active. So the rest of it is in natural state, but not improved. So the question is, could we look at it and improve it? And would they be interested, would we be interested, the environmental commission be interested in working on that or working with the river rats? To do something, so it's a thought.
is it right, I mean, is it,
Would that be interesting at all?
Yeah. I just,
I mean, it could be just plantings, you know what I mean, like, in other words, we have, I don't know, we have to think about, you know, there's native species, there are invasive species, can we take and plant more natives to help progress the area to be a more,
well, and then you also think about the Fourth Creek goes right there.
Mhm.
And all those invasives that are up there, we've talked about the cleanup of that, the knotweed, like,
It's all green infrastructure, it's all.
it's
filtering,
all right.
Protecting. It'd be a little bit of a pivot, but.
I mean, well, okay. But like, I just chose this project because, you know, I did the pollinator garden at Knollwood.
okay.
I planned out, so it's just something that I have a little bit more experience in.
Right.
But that's what I was saying before, if all these plans and properties don't work out, I have a list of like plan Bs.
Okay.
Or I'm totally open to other ideas.
No worries.
That's like,
Is there a certain objective you're trying to reach? Like, is there,
I mean,
through the SEAL program, like each individual of the SEAL program has to do X or have to do something in order to kind of graduate from the SEAL program, is that what you're asking?
yeah,
yeah, no, it's a very vague requirement because like, you know, the end goal is just to have an impact.
okay,
You know, to learn about the field, but I just picked this because I thought it was interesting.
Hmm.
But if I need to pivot, it would not be an issue for the program, it's not the end of the world, that's what I'm saying.
That's great. I'm not familiar with it, so.
Can you just say what
Yeah,
the
sure, yeah.
SEAL program is?
So it's basically Clean Ocean Action, I guess their headquarters in Long Branch, near the shore. And they do this program, it's for sophomores, for seniors in high school. And it's basically just every 2 weeks, we meet and, you know, we collaborate and we discuss our different ideas. And the end goal is just to go through the process of planning, funding,
Great.
and doing a project to make an impact on the environment. We have guest speakers every meeting, and we just, you know, just trying to learn and to improve our communities.
That's very helpful.
I think SEAL
And great.
stands for like student education ambassadors, right, or,
Student environmental ambassador
and leaders or
leadership,
Some-
something,
yeah.
I don't know.
Awesome.
the SEAL program, which is great,
It's
it's
great.
fantastic, and I am totally behind this and supportive, and I think it could also be a great learning, like a collaborative learning project if we are going to build a rain garden, or if we are going to upkeep a coastal shoreline, it could serve as, we all learn, right? Like we had a learning, you know, community learning event as well. So,
Learning opportunity.
yes,
Really
exactly.
love to see it.
Yeah.
And just if I could add, I mean, Quinn wasn't there, I don't know, Kelly, if you were there for the student presentations at the council meeting.
Mhm.
That Kristen Hoey, I think she kind of organized it, and so many of the kids, not so many, but a few kids expressed interest and talked about rain gardens. And, you know, I would love to see more rain gardens or be
Cool.
involved, so I think there's an opportunity there also
To
to
get those
engage
kids,
the
right.
Knollwood students to help out with the
Sure.
actual implementation.
And that's also another reason I like those locations on River Road. You know, a lot of kids go there every day for school. It's definitely an opportunity to provide some education for, especially the middle school kids at Knollwood.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
I think it's great. So let us know. I mean, right, keep us.
Well,
posted.
I would say, maybe coming from this group, I think you picked a tough one. So, you know, we're all aware of the Rutgers study. I would say more of those would have been done if they were like easy, like low hanging fruit. So I think you've got a little bit of work cut out for you to continue to kind of call and reach out and get, you know, make contact. If we can help, or the green team can help, we're happy to assist. If you do, I'm just thinking about your timeline, like you literally have 2 months. And so if you do decide to pivot and you want to reach us before our next meeting and get either a brainstorm or, you know, either team, either the green team meeting or this group, you know, don't wait until April.
Absolutely, yeah.
Come back and we'd be happy to help and open doors for you if that's what you need. You mentioned budget is one of your things that you guys talk about. Where are your funds for the project? Where are they coming from?
Yeah, first method is ask the business if they want to sponsor. Obviously, it's a 50-50 chance. But you know, it's a good look for any small business or corporation. And post to that, you know, I'm looking at a price of like anywhere from $6 to $25 per square foot. And so, you know, my biggest problem is I need to find the location. And then once I find the location, then I can.
Money's not, yeah. Not a barrier, right?
Yeah,
Should be okay. It's the key is location.
Yeah, and for.
yeah, and so I just gotta find the location and then I can ship it out to Rutgers, who, you know, we've been talking to. And hopefully they can give plans and give a price estimate, and past that, you know, I'm gonna try and do some crowdfunding.
Okay.
Maybe, you know, we have Love Where You Live Day. I think there's an Eco Fest before then. But, you know, advertise it. See if people want to contribute, and then past that, I don't know, maybe we can sell t-shirts.
The only thing I would like to bring up is that if you do choose the firehouse, there's a good chance that me and Anna could get it funded by them as well. I don't think they would have a problem with the funding.
Yeah.
So that might be a huge way to get it fast tracked for you.
That's perfect. I will look into that, next time I see any of you guys.
Great. Thank you, Fran.
Thanks, Claire.
That's
Great.
great.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Yeah, good work.
Good night.
Mhm.
And thank you. He has 2 tests tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, head out,
Stay.
yeah, there's no problem, we gotta get.
Take care.
What are they
Thank you,
on?
guys.
What do they test on?
Spanish and math.
Oh,
She's wrong, it's actually history now.
History, man. Well, who's economics, you really make some points with me, but that's okay.
I'm taking economics too.
That's good, good
Just had that
stuff.
test, try that test on Monday.
We have a 99% employment rate, just remember that. We have my PhD program is the highest employment rate of any PhD program I can.
amazing.
Yeah.
Guess what, you did, because it's like,
Yeah.
there's very few.
There you go. Drew,
I love this green infrastructure stuff we're all talking about. I just think it's like very timely.
I just think he picked,
Yeah,
I
you're right.
think he's up against a wall.
Yeah, that's why some of the
You
locations.
need to give him some guidance. Either open a door or give him some guidance. Like if the fire department is really a viable option for you guys, that's awesome. We can open that door.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be a struggle to get a landlord business owner to
It's been tough.
fund it.
It's been
and-
top of mind for the department. They want to change the ground, so the timing could be right.
Okay.
So I think that
Yeah.
we honestly talked about it last week, and John and I were just saying, I mean, it would be a beautification
It would be a
aspect,
big- yeah.
so it's not.
I don't see why if we didn't get a meeting, I mean, I could get a meeting tomorrow with Kevin and, I mean, it seems to be something that would be really simple.
Yeah.
You know, I could talk to them about.
Like big, like large hedges out that cover, I mean, they like
Yeah.
almost scratch the apparatuses anyway, so. A
Yeah.
few of those are coming down, and those are near the downstream, the downspouts, so it could just work
Yeah.
out for the way.
Location really matters. I mean, the best part would be to get a meeting with, and I'm sorry I didn't get that young gentleman's name, but if we get a meeting with him and the department ASAP, I don't see why we can't fast track it. The department has the funds for the, you know.
You could send that back to Rutgers and just say, could you please revisit? This was 2017. I mean, we have different storms now. We have different water usage. Like,
Correct.
it might be very, it might say, yeah, actually, this would serve very well rather than a rain barrel.
Yeah,
At the
agreed.
downspout,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
like, because of the amount of flooding we have on River
It's a
Road
different
anyway.
call.
Yeah.
Really.
Correct.
Can they respond that fast?
Their Rutgers is pretty good. They could, and, Steph.
Days, weeks, not months.
Yeah, Steph has taken, they know personal contact, because she's taken the stormwater, course through Rutgers. Chris Abrata is in charge of this stuff. He's pretty, and who did this. I think also with Cindy Zimp's name from Clean Ocean Action, who also co-sponsored this, I think they would have a pretty good leeway.
Okay.
So hopefully, I mean, if that could work, that could be a great,
I'll talk to JP. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
And Anna, John, when you guys have those conversations, let me know, because maybe there's some synergy with the rain garden or bioretention systems that are going in our facilities. Maybe that we can somehow tap into to support his initiative, given that he's under the gun in a couple of months.
Cool.
Drew, we're at Borough Facilities Landscape Plans.
Yeah,
So-
thanks, Sean.
And I'll just set it up real quick.
Thank you.
Planning board meeting, Drew gave an overview. Yeah, because it went through the planning board years ago. He gave an update on where they were with the construction and specifically went over the landscape plans. For PD, community center. I thought it'd be great for us to get the same briefing, because I know there's been questions about that's come up in this forum in the past. So Drew, I thought what you went over at the planning board was great, and thought we could touch on some of those points again tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sean, I'm going to treat this slightly different in my approach. I'll provide, a 60 to 90 second high level overview, and then I'll look for questions specifically from the EC that I can satisfy, just to help make it as efficient as possible, if that works for you.
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool. I think I can annotate. Give me hopefully on here. More. Whiteboard. No, I can't. Okay. I don't want to break it. Okay, yeah, I can't do it. So what you're looking at here is the DPW plan. The top of the page is Maple Avenue. The bottom of the page is Allen Street, and to the left is 3rd Street. There are predominantly 3 sides of the landscaping plan. The reason there's not a 4th side is because that Hendrickson side, which is the right side, is there's a large natural area there of plants and whatnot. Some of the key features here. So on the left-hand side on 3rd Street, where there's a little bit of a curved landscaping feature, that is the previous berm shifted to the right considerably. So one of the key things with the DPW is, and the greatest challenge is that it's an industrial site in a residential area. So one of the key initiatives was shrinking the site. So we shifted, the DPW site shrunk 40 feet from left to right. Originally, we were looking to put a rain garden. You can see a little bit of, I don't know, Christy, you see the V right in between, like right in the middle of the curve. Originally, we were going to put a rain garden there, but yeah, exactly, right there. However, that is a solution that is implemented at DPW sites to catch oil and gas and runoffs and particulars from the parking lot before it goes into the infrastructure. So it was advised by multiple landscape architects, environmentalists, our CTE, that we don't put a rain garden there. Nonetheless, though, that side is being enhanced, since we are also removing a 40-foot by, I don't know, 100-foot area of compact asphalt that is now going back to green infrastructure, pure green infrastructure. A key highlight on the Allen Street side, we enhanced this further by increasing the width between the curb and the DPW fence. So exactly where Christie's mouse is, it's 12 feet from the curb. All the plantings are native to Fairhaven. We worked closely on that 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, coordinated with environmental, shade tree. We coordinated with every stakeholder. And then the other highlight that I'll add here is if you see the building, on either side of the building, there's this 4x3, I don't know, picture. So do you guys see on either side of the DPW building, there's 2 of them? That's the stormwater infrastructure. So one of the critical things was to make the runoff from the building a net zero impact, and reduce that stormwater from getting to the infrastructure. And that's what that is. Those are 2 natural stormwater systems underground, naturally recharge, et cetera. So keep it in line with the efficiency of this. I'll pause there and just hone in based on questions from the EC members.
Christie, are you controlling it?
I am.
Can you go back to the PowerPoint version of it?
Can you see that one better?
Zoom in a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe down the bottom right above the clock.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Ooh, yeah. If you don't mind going, showing 3rd Street right there, all the way. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
better.
That's better.
Feel free to stand up and go to the screen if you need to.
So,
Maple Avenue is being enhanced right now with curbing on the 3rd Street. Those are adding street trees back. There's a significant amount of decay, diseased trees on the 3rd Street side, as well as non-native. So it's actually much better with it being magnified.
So are you removing the berm in front of the fence? Obviously, you're putting new fencing, right, on the 3rd Street side, and then are you building up, creating a berm? Is that what I see with those topographic lines right there?
Yeah, exactly right, Kelly. So the
Okay.
previous berm there was a temporary solution. So the berm wasn't installed correctly, to nobody's fault. The trees weren't installed correctly, nobody's fault. It's just what occurred years and years and years ago. So that berm actually has been removed, and this new berm will be installed. If you drive by DPW today, you'll notice the 5 commercial shipping containers, right? Those ugly 40-yard containers, they've been relocated. We're auctioning them off. And it gives you a real good idea of 1, how the site's going to shrink, 2, what the green infrastructure is going to look like, and then 3, how we're going to redo this berm to add additional landscaping buffer between this 3rd Street mini park, I'll call it, because it's pretty big.
Okay, and so in between those trees that are gonna be planted, I see some trees that are gonna be saved too. That's gonna be grass like in front of the berm, that as is, the lawn area is gonna remain.
Yeah, exactly. There's some seeding that they're going to have to do and cleaning after it, but yeah, exactly.
And then what is the stuff that's behind those plantings that's on the sides of the V shaped? That's gonna collect all the oil. What's that stuff that says seed mix with TYP?
Yeah, so that would be grass. Where the V is, there'll be, the term is DGA. I just call it stone. So there'll be stone there again, because that's the natural, not natural, that's not the right word. That's the solution to catch all the particulates off of the parking lot. What you guys think of very difficult questions. That's a joke.
Like grass.
The site, the building itself has about 7 punch list items left. Hoping to get the DPW out of the concession stand within the next week or two, and then conclude the site work in its entirety within the next 4 to 6 weeks. We also made significant enhancements to the recycling center, bottom right of the property. And DPW, from this perspective, went through an entire operational overhaul to improve it. So there's hours now. We're adding e-waste container so that folks that have electronics can properly dispose of it, properly recycle it. Obviously, we'll bring back all of the plastic and glass recycling. There's paper recycling. And then we added a whole new cardboard pad, I'll call it, just given the volume of cardboard. And not sure if you guys saw it, but on Saturdays now it's manned. So folks drive onto the site, all the cardboard gets discarded of properly, and we actually make revenue off of the cardboard. So it's not significant revenue, but nonetheless, it's revenue that offsets different costs year to year.
So, Drew, just going back to that too, so the recycling center, it's always been just cardboard. Now we're gonna have plastic, glass, paper, and e-waste container. Is that what I heard?
Yes, sir. Ma'am, sorry. Yes.
Okay.
I saw you talking and then looked at Sean for some reason, and my head went to, sorry, that's my bad. You guys are right next to each other.
No harm or foul. Can I ask a question? And you might
Yeah.
not know the answer, but would you ever be open, would the town ever be open in a clothing recycling container? I just, because I just had a talk with somebody, it's 5 by 6 by 6, and they actually they would pay you 7 cents per pound of any type of clothing and stuff. And I just, I'm trying to learn more and looking at other options in our municipality, but I was just wondering, like, are we trying to make this a recycling center? Like, cause I know a lot of clothing is a big problem, or is there room for that? Or you can also just say no, or maybe I want to hear more, that's fine. I just wanted, I was not aware that we were adding e-waste, and that's fantastic and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so I can't speak to whether or not we can do it or not, but if you send me the dimensions and kind of some of the aspects of it, the final layout, I'll call it, of the recycling center is being finalized. And just additional context as to why I'm saying finalized. If you recall, originally the recycling center was supposed to be closed for the duration of the project, just given a variety of different considerations to include safety. But then after everything that occurred with the cap and trash and recycling bid, we opened it up bi-weekly, or excuse me, we opened it up daily just to offset that. So send me the details on it, and that'd be great.
Okay. All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah. Susan, go for it.
Just one question. It's on the use of grass. Was there any thought given to any other kind of plantings that don't require fertilizing and as much maintenance?
And money, to put sod down would probably be very expensive, right?
Yeah, so the conversation, Susan, went back for months and months and months. We had 2 different landscape architects, we had environmental architects, obviously we had our CTE, and we ultimately deferred to their recommendation that balanced plant material that was native, the maintenance aspect of it, because the last thing we want to do is plant that requires a tremendous amount of maintenance and then it's not taken care of and dies. Fiscal obviously was a component. So I don't know if that answers your question, but we spent a lot of time on the planting list. The one thing that's not included on this, and I can send it over to you, is the planting matrix. So it actually breaks down each type and quantity and whatnot. So if that's something that'd be of interest, more than happy to pass that along.
Sure, that'd be great. It sounds like an economic decision at the end of the day.
It always is.
Economic was one factor, right? So what it came down to was what are the goals? What are we trying to achieve with this? And then what is the best use of funds to do so? So I'll give you an example on the process, because we just relived it again. So on the Maple Avenue side, the plan is being finalized once more. And the reason for that was that trees that were girdled originally weren't identified, and there was quite a bit of landscaping that had to be removed. So with that, with the plan that was put in place initially for Maple Avenue, it came back in $98,000. To put it into context, the original landscaping plan for all of this, which is Allen Street, 3rd Street, and there was maybe 4 trees being planted on Maple Avenue, was $55,000, right? So when you think about the planting intensity and everything compared to the two different, so when the cost came back, yes, that's a factor, but we had to take into account and took into account resident impact. A lot of these homes here, see directly to the back of DPW. So that was an aspect of it. The maturity, right, and what they see now is significant. Stormwater is a big piece. So, I wouldn't say the primary driver was economic. This is a multi-dimensional problem that had all different factors that were weighted accordingly.
I would say maybe asking that question a different way. We're looking at grass along 3rd Street and touches Maple, it touches Allen. What if it was not grass? What if it was like wildflowers or like more of a meadow type of approach? Which would be either no sod or no grass seed, but just kind of leaving it
Or
go.
you could have just like that.
Was that, I guess that's the question, was that ever considered as part of the design?
I can tell you that every type of plant was considered. And I don't say that in any of the exaggeration sense. You got to remember when we went through this about 2 years ago now, right? We went through open houses. We went through coordination with different committees and commissions. And so every single, I like to say, proverbial rock was turned over. And again, there were multiple factors that led to why or why not a specific plant was selected. And the other thing that's super critical, and that kind of grounded us in the conversations, was that Allen Street is the front of DPW, right? Maple Avenue is the back of DPW, and then 3rd Street is this adjacent side. And they all require a different approach when planning and designing a landscaping plan, given what side of the DPW was on. So that was another kind of factor, again, amongst maintenance, amongst costs, amongst plant type, amongst plant intensity, et cetera.
It was just making me shudder to think about having to participate in this meeting. I'm so happy you're there, not me.
Cool.
It's been fun.
All right, you want to jump to the next one, Drew?
Yeah, it's your time, guys. Whatever you guys have, I'm here to help. So if you want to go next one, let's do it. Okay. So for the purposes of my brief, Christy, do you mind presenting it? Because then I can use my own marker. And then when we get into specific questions, we could zoom in again. So if you present it, go to the left of that minus sign and just share and just present the slide.
They had trouble saying it that way before.
Yeah, it's not as big.
Well, he'll go over it, then we
Okay.
can make it big again.
Okay.
Okay, where are you? Oh, that's your annotation, isn't it? Oh, come on. Is it here? Yes, love it. Okay, cool. And then if I do this, and I'll do it in red so you guys can see it. Okay, so up here is Fisk, right? Just to orientate you, Maple. The community center fields is over here. The landscaping plan, now what you're looking at is both PD, which is here, the new community center, which is here, and the Fish Chapel parking lot. Everybody with me so far? Okay. From a landscaping perspective, we have obviously same type of approach that we took with DPW, right? All those different variables that we went to arrive at what we did. Some of the notable differences here is over here is a rain garden. This is a bio-retention stormwater system. Both the parking lot at Fisk here and the parking lot at PD and the two buildings have stormwater infrastructure to make it a net zero impact on the stormwater infrastructure in the Fisk Maple Avenue. This is a real hot spot in town. It's actually one of the areas from a stormwater infrastructure that is the oldest. And that presents its own set of complications, right? Piping, sizing, where the infrastructure goes, challenges in the infrastructure, et cetera. There's underneath this parking lot will be, and this is where the current PD is, will be a significant stormwater infrastructure that's underneath the parking lot that handles it. What you'll notice is obviously ADA, everything's fully compliant. You have the pathway over here. A couple other noticeable pieces here. So Fisk Street right now, so this right here, if you guys have ever driven down Fisk Street, there's a bottleneck here. And so part of this project is to widen Fisk Street and then line up the sidewalk entirely down. You can see the new street trees going in here so that everything's planted accordingly. The other significant piece that came up here, obviously, is the parking lot at the church. So we've done 2 reviews with the planning board, 1 3 years. Actually, it's a review and an update, I would say. But we have a long-term partnership that we've created with the church to put this parking lot in here to offset challenges. From a stormwater infrastructure, we're actually reducing the size of impervious. So the DEP doesn't materially view compacted gravel and asphalt differently from a stormwater impact perspective. So we're actually reducing the size of that. The other noticeable difference here is that this property line right here, there was a 17-foot encroachment here, meaning that the fence, well, you can't really see it here, is really right here. And then this side was 11-foot encroachment. So why that's important to notice is one, we had to be ensured that we abided by green acres and whatnot, because community centers funded via green acres. But 2, as we reconciled and brought this area up to a standard, we wanted to ensure that all setbacks were accurate, and 2, that the landscaping infrastructure only further enhanced reduction of water in this vicinity. And so this entire landscaping here is will be brand new. From a timing perspective, we're targeting, it's a soft date because it could slide to the right depending on utilities, but we're targeting the police department to move in, first or second week of April. We'll likely be doing a little commemoration with the Reverend on the site and a few other folks. The reason we need to get the PD into this building is because we can't finish the site work and demo that other building. So again, just keep it in line. I'll X out of the annotation. Christy, if you want to X out of the presentation and blow it up, I can take and field questions. This should be a way to clear the annotations.
That's great, Christy, thanks.
Drew,
Go for it.
all right, the in between to the right of the police parking and to the left of Fisk Chapel in that area, is that the bioswale or is that the rain garden?
Yeah, so the one on the right-hand side is that's the bioswale. That's the bio-retention stormwater system.
Okay,
The
so
rain garden is to the
on the
left.
opposite side of
Exactly.
okay, the eastern side. So, I mean, western side, you're right,
Over by there's gonna be a trail there. to
right,
connect to the-
got it. My question is, this is great. I'm glad that all these green infrastructure is being implemented in here, and I think it's great. And, but you know, since the record study has been up and I've been looking at this again with another fresh set of eyes and comparing it, there is also 2 rain gardens that they suggested on the Fisk Chapel side. And so I know you're planting street trees, you're doing some other vegetation there, but you know, is there any talk of including? I just wonder, are they still necessary? Do they look at what is being put into this site? Is it sufficient enough to kind of substantiate the stormwater runoff from both sides? Because the rain gardens that were proposed by Rutgers in 2017 are on the eastern side of Fisk Chapel and in front of Fisk Chapel on Fisk Street. And I just wonder that if this is all happening, perhaps there are economies of scale. They've been very welcoming to allowing the PD to park there, and they've been very, you know, great neighbors. Is there a way? Have these rain gardens for Fisk Chapel been brought up with any of these conversations as well? It's just kind of like a community effort.
Negative, not to my understanding, Kelly. They very easily can be. We talk to the Reverend probably once a week between a handful of us as we coordinate. So if that's something that you want to have a discussion on, 100%, let's do it. To give you a little bit more, just given what you're asking for. So the topography, the way the water flows is from the back right corner of the page to the top left. So the stormwater, the bioretention system that was installed there was put there for a specific reason. So one, that all the water from the parking lot is pitched that way. Fisk Chapel, these 2 buildings have a history of stormwater issues in their basement. So what we wanted to ensure was then that we didn't exacerbate an issue. And if we could reduce it, right? Hence taking every single water drop that hits the parking lot now and having it go to the bioretention. To go even deeper, we did make a right turn, meaning we did 2 additional test pits. So you see the building that's further south on the Fisk Chapel side, right? It's that
Their community center.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It actually used to be a barn, stables back in the day. It's got phenomenal history. But anyway, we did 2 test pits here. And what the test pits revealed was that we could not put any additional stormwater infrastructure here because it likely would have exacerbated the stormwater issues that are present in this area. And so the last piece, oh man, my mind just blanked. We hit the swell. We hit that. It'll come back to me. There was a third piece. I wanted to go a little bit deeper. Oh, the third piece is that this stormwater infrastructure is built to what's called the Atlas 100 standard, and it's a 100-year storm. And most folks will say, well, those calculations are old, right? 100-year storms now are much different than what they were 25 years ago. 100-year storm is Sandy. And the DEP has updated all of the Atlas stormwater calculations. So this has a natural recharge into the ground of an inch and quarter, 1¼ inch of rain per hour that would cover this entire parking lot. So if this parking lot had an 1¼ inch rain deep, this would naturally recharge it back into the system. That's how much that this holds. And so we made sure that when we designed it, it was designed based on the updated stormwater calculations that take into account, I'm not going to use the right term, and Rick Adelson would probably cringe if I said this, but like the new type of storms, quote unquote, right? That we're used to now from a frequency and volume perspective.
Right. So, you know, and I know that we've talked about this even last year, Ann and I too, just about presenting and going up to the Fisk AME church and seeing if this could be a collaborative effort with the Historic Association, with other amenities, the EC, kind of like a nice community effort. What is your timeline for the landscaping here as well?
Great question. So send me an email on Friday. That's what we're meeting on Friday to talk through. So the action item is now that we know when the PD's moving in, we can work backwards from all of these different pieces. So I'll have an updated schedule by end of day Friday that I can then share. Because the same kind of process, Kelly, that we followed in the beginning of this, right, with the coordination with all the stakeholders and everything, we want to follow that now. It's been 2.5 years since we've had in-depth conversations on this, right? So bringing everybody back to the quote unquote table, providing the updates, letting folks know what changed, and then even being part of these processes, right? Whether it's the commemoration we're going to do right before the building's taken down, or when the rain garden or swell are installed, right? Well, whatever it may be, is just figuring out what that collaboration looks like, given it's been 2.5 years later, and we're at first and goal now with finishing.
Okay. Once we did balance. All right. Yeah, okay, great, because this is something we've talked about. I just think that if you're doing it at the same time, if maybe we can kind of jump in on there, do that as well, it could just be a really great. And it hits the stormwater that the Rutgers did. I don't know if it's on the timeline that Quinn is looking at, but there's a lot of, information that could be helpful. And in any regard, we've been trying to talk, like, stormwater is one of our EC priorities. And this could just be a really good learning opportunity as well. And
Can I just ask though, like,
Yeah.
so that the whole concept of this parcel is different than it was in 2017, right? Like this
No.
design wasn't in place
because
then?
it's the Fisk Chapel. So, right, this wasn't, so I'm not looking at the PD point of view, because the PD was on here, but Fisk Chapel was a separate entity.
But now
as a
every piece
site.
of rainwater that hits Fisk Chapel's property is going into is being recharged.
Is that what you're saying? Every single piece of rainwater that hits Fisk Chapel's roof is going into your detention bioswale?
Okay, so every raindrop that hits the parking lot,
The parking lot, not the roof.
Okay.
not the roof themselves.
So-
What we
Not
have,
even the whole property.
No, so this is
Well,
what,
the one thing that we've talked about, and I'm waiting for an update.
Yeah, no, I know. what you're
yeah,
saying.
see, like this
Hey,
area and that area.
Can we put the leaders of the properties and let them go into the parking lot? Right? So Sean, the one question we're gonna get answered, and should be answered, I'm waiting for Rick to provide it actually tonight, is if we're able to take the downspouts and put them into the parking lot from each building, can we capture the rain from each building as well? So that's an open question right now. But Kelly, to your point, I mean, if you're open to it, the next time we meet with Reverend, which is usually probably in the next few days, if you want to come with, and we could
Okay.
talk about those other aspects and see if there is that economies of scale or timing or whatever the factor may be, let's do it, because now's the time to do it, because we're probably,
Okay.
if I had to give you a swag guess, 4 to 6 weeks out from landscaping being installed. Just let me know.
4 to 6 weeks, okay, great, thank you.
No problem. Great questions.
Yeah, there's no water source at Fisk.
Okay.
So just keep that.
There's a water source at Brian Rice, is it?
There is, we could barrel them out the process.
Fish Chapel has a couple water spouts around their buildings.
And
None of them
so
work.
the other question too, just, and this is phase 3, right? Like the community center park, like that, and that info where the tennis rack courts are, like, that's all gonna be another phase.
Correct. And the up-to-date data point that I'll give you on that, just since we're having this conversation. So to have the greatest stormwater reduction, which means you make water disappear, the recommendation from the professionals, and it's a byproduct of all the test pits and research that have been done around the area, is to put a regional stormwater management system where the tennis courts used to be. And if you recall, the speculation is, it hasn't been confirmed because we haven't done any geophysical, but the tennis courts that were there would continuously crack. And the speculation is that Fourth Water Creek goes underneath that.
Underneath that.
Exactly. So yes, it's a next stage effort, but 2, I want to make sure you have the most up-to-date data points that have been a byproduct of this, and what the recommendation from our stormwater engineers are as far as having the greatest impact when it comes to making quote unquote water disappear.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Drew, thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So next item on the agenda, I had invited Councilwoman Koch to come and have Betsy talk to us because she gave the presentation at the last council meeting. Couldn't join us tonight, so we'll table that for another conversation. The next item is an outreach effort for Friends of McCarter Pond. Christy, do you have that document handy to present to everyone?
Sure.
Thank you. Neither Elise nor Mike could join us, so I'll just give a quick overview. They really wanted to get the EC's input before they take action. So we figured we'd do it tonight. So just to rewind a little bit, one of the recommendations coming out of the committee work is how do we get people that are right around the pond doing the right things? And, you know, rather than telling what they have to do, helping them understand what they could do to improve the condition of the pond is where we wanted to start. We identified a couple of key actions that would be sort of the most impactful and coming up with a way to put that on a piece of paper. So literally knocking on doors type of activity between Mike, Elise, and others might have a little bit of a better reception than hearing it come from, you know, from someone else.
This is the Friends, this is not the committee,
Friends,
or are they?
Yeah, so it's a partnership, so
Okay.
this is the committee agreeing that this is an action that would be wise to take. This is the Friends of McCarter Pond taking the action to do the outreach. So if you just scroll down a little bit, Christy, really it's, you know, there's a little bit about what's going on, the location, you know, a little bit of context, but really it's these bullet points on the right. And I'll just highlight a couple of things that are here. The bulkheads, right, we identified that as just a contribution to sediment soil getting into the pond. Some of the bulkheads are in better shape than others, and they're all, the bulkheads that we're talking about here are the ones that are privately owned. You read different literature and that buffer between, you know, the water and kind of like an active zone, like a yard, 4 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet. So we're starting with 10 feet as a very safe amount, and what a buffer would be, it could just be a garden, it could be some more natural plantings. We can certainly provide guidance on what those would be. But really, it's actually kind of sitting with the neighbor and looking at their backyard, because some of them, especially on the Buttonwood side, are very shallow
Yeah.
yards. 10 feet would be, you know,
In their kitchen.
maybe that,
Yeah.
yes. And so not practical, you know, not saying it has to be like, the borough's not gonna come back and do a land grab necessarily at this point and try to annex 10 feet of space.
Right.
So what are things that we could ask our neighbors to do?
Is this just to, the people that are adjacent to the property?
Correct, to the
Okay,
water,
just adjacent, okay.
starting there.
I love it, I think this is a great idea, I mean, it's
It-
like a good place to start, for sure.
I wonder though if like. Images help, right? Like this is what this is what the front should look like, you know, like a natural buffer, you know, compared to that. Like it's good. I just don't know how. It's a good first step, right? But I'm just wondering how much of like. Bulkhead, no, this is what the natural, like, you know what I mean? Like
What
if
does
they're
good look
comparing, what does it look like?
Yeah.
Right, and. Or specifics or images or.
As like a more.
More of a, yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
and so I just sent Christy like our stormwater. Slow the flow brochure, and I wonder if you just need, and this isn't very. This isn't very detailed either, but you know, we talked about like, do you need a little bit more information on here? And is there a mix between the two, right? And so this is, and if you go to the second page, Christy, I think we talk a little bit more like what you can do But like, I just wonder if you put something with like images and show a natural buffer on
The
your.
mayor has his hand raised. Mayor's online. I like to put the name of the finest resident in Fairhaven, which is Snappy the Snapping Turtle. It's featured on this document. I think he's one of the finest residents in Fairhaven. He's never come to a council meeting. He's never complained.
But you know, like
He's
if
an
there's like a
excellent
mix
resident. That's
between-
all I'm-
I don't know.
He does, well, he doesn't pay taxes, but he doesn't want any trouble.
But
So,
I do like
I can accept that.
the
So, and I have
visual
a little bit of, excuse me, similar feedback, and it was it talked about a bulkhead, so that's an expensive proposition.
Yeah.
And then it said build a buffer zone. I don't know what the words were, but for somebody who doesn't know what that is, they wouldn't know what it was.
Christie, could you put the?
It's
Yeah.
build,
Yeah.
it's bulkhead, then build a buffer something. And if people don't know what that is,
From the mayor's.
maybe
Like a-
that could be edited to be a little bit more specific.
Like a living shoreline center.
Yeah, they might not know what
Yeah,
that is either.
Right.
It's build, what's it?
Build a 10-foot planting buffer at the edge.
Yeah,
of-
what's a
Right.
planting buffer? They might not know.
And
what
does that mean like, right,
So, yeah, so the idea is, this isn't like, I'm not giving this as an email, this is like part of a conversation.
Oh, so
So-
they can
This is
explain
it,
it,
yeah.
Yeah,
but the person might not, they may say
Sure.
thank you and,
I got you, John.
I got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Got it.
and the other thing was layers. I didn't get layers. What that meant.
partners maybe?
That subhead layers, I don't know what that refers
Layers.
to.
Environmental and residents.
Restoration
So maybe like a partner.
and upkeep.
Yeah, maybe partners is a better topic area.
Yeah. Just my editors coming out here.
Yeah, so, and I think this is all good, like, I think really it was the actions on the right, I think they wanted guidance from this group in particular. Because they are more, sort of directive around making good environmental
Yeah.
choices. And so, you know, if you look at those bullet points and something reacts to you in a negative way, like, let's voice that, like, so,
Right.
you know, the word like build is too strong, okay?
It sounded expensive.
Yeah,
It sounds like I've gotta build something.
You could say
Erect.
plant
I've gotta
or, you know,
erect something,
right.
yeah. And native, was there anything about native in the buffer?
No, it just says planting, that's, I'm like, is it,
Yeah,
gonna put like
maybe,
marigold or zinnias or like, you know, like,
Native.
what are they gonna put there?
otherwise I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think that just the conversations
Yeah.
around it are
Yeah.
positive, especially these are the people that it impact, well, it impacts all of us
Mhm.
inherently, but these are the people that are, it's
Yeah.
actionable, so just.
Yeah,
Getting
it's
boots on the
great.
ground to go is a great start.
And for neighbors to go around and give to other neighbors is
And a lot of them
really
have been
good.
to the Friends of McCarter Pond
Yeah.
meetings at least has had, and I think
Yeah.
there's a good amount of.
Yeah.
Buy-in from them already to make a change, they see it, it impacts them,
Yeah.
so.
yeah, I think
It's good
if
stuff.
if you believe in the principle that, you know, it takes 9, 10
Right.
plus conversations to
Yeah.
get something to change. This is the first.
Right.
This is a friendly conversation with someone who says, hey, I raised my hand to volunteer to kind of
Mhm.
help with the pond. We see the islands forming, whatever is your bugbear. We think there are some actions that can be taken by all of us.
Here they are, and maybe
Um,
we just help them flesh out just the terms.
Just some language.
Yeah.
That's
Or,
all.
right, or just
Yeah,
go by
just
pictures
yeah, or-
to
right,
what it
or-
looks
I think
like.
pictures is great.
Did Elise do this? I see.
Yes, at
Yeah.
least to this, and I also said they did put, Elise did ask, they wanted to do a cleanup with the Friends of
Right.
Carter Pond.
Yeah,
And they wanna do that in April, and so this would also be a really good. Time to talk about what it might look like and what a buffer means. And what kind of plants go in here, and here's some examples.
or if there's
of
a
it,
model
you know,
yard, if
exactly.
if there's a yard that is like,
Come check it out.
bulkhead's good,
Mhm.
there's a 25-foot buffer, and bring people through the doors there, I don't personally know, but that would be a really nice place to
Yeah,
start, so. Here's what you could do in some.
It looks friendly too.
Yes.
It looks good. Well,
Yeah.
the-
Kids, right, yeah. Mhm.
Do you want us to go to her with feedback? How do you want us to handle the next steps, or should we?
Yeah, I would say if you are comfortable, I mean, I'll grab what I heard tonight.
Cool.
If you got your own and you wanna type them up, just you can send them to me or send them to all three of us.
Great.
And make sure that Lisa and Mike see them.
Awesome.
That'd be great.
Yay, action.
I was waiting for you guys to finish talking. I didn't want to talk over anyone. I know it's weird when someone's on Zoom. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, we can hear you, yes.
Okay, so this looks like it's more like education specific to the resident. So I guess I have two questions. One, just want to make sure that this, even though it's obviously good education for the resident, but you might have residents wondering based on some of the language there, whether these are rules for them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in other words, it's not coming from an actual committee of the government, but it's saying fertilizer cannot be applied closer than 25 feet to the shoreline. Do not blow leaves or cut. So in other words, I think it needs to read, recommendations.
Sure.
That's the first, and then the second part of that conversation is, as I mentioned, great to educate residents because obviously that's going to lead to a healthier pond. Do we have an idea on a timeline of when we might get recommendations out of committee to the council on what we can do as a government to help the pond?
Yeah, we are, a quick update is we've been talking to some providers to get their recommendation and cost estimates. Where we are in the season, we're really looking at the warmer months from as early as April, but definitely by May, where we would do some treatment, through the end of September. And looking at, a more active removal of material next winter.
Okay, great. The only reason I'm bringing it up is, as you know, government never moves as quickly as you want it to move. So if we're looking to start treatments in April, that's information we got to obviously probably workshop in a council meeting. We only have one more in March on the 24th, and then we're right into April. So maybe I'll talk to you offline, Sean. You can give me an update on where you're at, and we can support you however we can to accomplish a positive impact on the pond as quickly as possible. So.
Yeah, great, thanks.
All right, thank you, everyone. Appreciate all the work you put in here, not just on the pond, but on the health of our entire borough. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna do that. That's cool. That's easy.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
We can also help, I don't know when this plans to go out, but I can knock on doors and tell people this is the information if they're looking for more boots on the ground.
Yeah,
right. Just have to bring my kids.
Makes it even better.
Push a stroller, bring the dog.
Yeah, no, I think.
Bring the turtle.
Turtle.
Turtle's the best resident,
With that.
Turtle's the best resident in this town, long standing.
I think to me, the best part of this is it's like, I'm in it with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm a neighbor
exactly.
here, like, I have the same problems, maybe my bulkhead is in disarray, and I'm coming to you telling us, we all have to, like,
Do
I'm
something.
trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with mine, like, I'm not preaching to you, but I'm just saying, like.
Well, it's time
this
to
is
like take the conversation offline. It's like enough of the Facebook about it, let's bring it into real life and start to do some changes.
But,
Space.
in terms of sustainable property management, right, of borough properties as well too, how are we, the borough, can the borough lead by example of this and follow that as well? Because some of that coastline is
Their
borough property.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
for
like,
sure.
Can we show what a planting berm is, or like what it would
that's
look
great.
like? Can we
Yeah.
do
Along
that?
those edges.
Where we can still allow for kids to come in and fish, but remember how we talked about one of the biggest problems too with stormwater, and that area is so compacted that it's almost like impervious pavement, and nothing goes in. Can we kind of create a little pathways so that kids maintain and stay on the path, but then we can have plantings to help as well? So maybe the borough can lead by example and say, we're following these best practices. Look at what we're doing.
Could we put a
Could you
plan
model
together and then present it to Nick? As the head of DPW, he would be instructing the guys on how to maintain that area. If we were to put something cohesive together and just say, you know, comparable to what we're asking the residents around the pond to do. There's a strip of land that belongs to the borough. This is our recommendation for you guys to follow when you're doing any maintenance to that area. I mean, I think that could be an easy.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, as the Friends of McCarter Pond are trying to come up with this cleanup day at McCarter Pond, I wonder if it could also be like a planting, can we all, you know, community plant, community cleanup and enhance.
Yeah, I
don't know.
think I think it's all possible, yeah, and it certainly has to be, I think me personally thinking about it, I struggle with how do you let the kids fish and do it, like I visually can't see it
Yeah,
yet, so.
right.
It doesn't mean it can't be done,
Right,
that's just my
right,
interpretation.
right. But you know, creating pathways and pockets and still having accessibility, I mean, you've talked about even the bulkhead right there. That the town owns right there, and then, you know, the idea of like whether it becomes a little dock that goes out, you know, where kids can fish out that way, so it's not as, you know, just revisit, there's a lot, but I just wonder if we could even do some soft plantings to be like, these are the types of native plants that would work really well. Here's one area that we're gonna show you. It doesn't even have to be the whole entire coastline, but just one little plot, just to show this is what
Well, maybe we can get also like,
living buffer might look like.
yeah, maybe quarry logs,
Further
that you
south.
might be able to go in to stabilize the bank area
Mhm.
along that, from the bulkhead over to the south.
Okay,
Because obviously that's an area that's a bit of erosion.
Heavy flooding.
yes.
Yeah.
Heavy
Okay,
flooding.
What's it called, a what log?
It's a quarry log, it's made out of coconut fiber, and you basically stake them down, they're all biologically,
Oh,
totally, there's no metal or anything in it, so you just. Stake it down with some wooden stakes, and over time, they, you know, they slowly rot away, but you could put some. Soil behind them and vegetation to help
Okay.
get the bank be a soft, basically a soft
Yeah.
bank, yeah, it's not anything really invasive, I don't think there have to be any permitting or anything, you just stake it down. It's used also in like when they have, you know, areas of runoff where you wanna get the silt out of it,
Yeah.
it's like a filtering material.
Yeah.
Just a thought, I mean,
Thank
we wanna do some simple things, right, if we can start
Right.
to improve it, so. it's
Yeah,
nice.
Right, and just to show like easy, tangible things
Totally.
that you can do in your own backyard.
No leaf blowing on that side. It's like a real quick check mark from the town, just saying
Right.
you can't blow on that
Nobody.
area.
And, even the don't feed the wildlife.
Yeah.
You know, like a
Continue
simple
to think about
sign, because the
It got
crazy
replaced,
stat,
yeah, it got replaced.
right,
Mhm.
We
okay,
got
yeah,
that
good.
last fall, late fall,
Yes,
we
right.
updated the sign.
But speaking about the turtle, John, I mean, the past, I think it was in the fall or whatever, we saw 2 dead turtles on Thursday.
Oh, don't tell me that.
No, it
Susan
wasn't
might have,
them.
Susan might have been there, one night at
was
council,
awful.
somebody came in and said we should go after the turtle.
Oh,
Yeah, when I was on council, you were there, I don't know if you were there, Susan, but some people came in to complain the turtle was a threat, I'm like, he's the best resident.
no.
I am not gonna hurt the turtle, I'm just telling you right now, I'm gonna protect that turtle.
Sean, this kind of
Yeah.
segues into our next agenda item, but just please,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
if
yeah.
we're ready.
Can I just, Susan, do you mind if I just tap real quick on one thing
Yeah,
before you guys
Sure,
go?
go for it, yep.
So Sean, the one thing that I'd be valuable in this conversation, right, and we brought it up at previous calls, is everything we're articulating is great. I love it. But how are we going to measure that we're successful or not? Right? It's great to put information out there. It's great to educate, but to what end? And how do we measure that? And so what I think is an extremely effective means to hold each other accountable, right, as this group, is to define that. So I just give that to you, Sean. We can dive into it later. I know it's getting late. But it comes back to what is the ultimate goal, and then how are we going to ensure that we are having some type of impact that we're looking for, and being able to follow through on it. So more than happy to dive in further, but just wanted to raise that as a point.
Thanks. John online, anything else you want to add before we move on? Awesome. You guys are now. Okay. So next item on the agenda, I know it is getting late, strategic objectives, team sharing. So we started this last month. I think Anna and John were the first to really kind of give us a good deep dive in their topic area. It would be great to do like at least a flyby of a couple more tonight. Maybe not too much time on it, but set aside some time in March for like a workshop if needed, or now that we've had a couple of months to talk about it with your teammate, your partner, to come back then. But Susan, you were,
Well, just this conversation about the pond just resonated because Kelly and I were talking about strategies. And we were saying coordinate with DPW for a calendar, so like Leave Your Leaves isn't coming out when the town's announcing a pickup of leaves, that kind of thing. And then we also were talking about or maybe we weren't, but I made a note, not only coordinate a calendar, but best practices, because John just mentioned those logs. And there seems to be a lot of technical knowledge that maybe people on DPW may not know, that maybe we could have input. So coordinate best practices with them as well as a calendar. And that was one of our strategies.
Right, and I think this came up with, just today with the town saying, get ready for your leaves to be picked up, starting, zones 1 and zone 2, and yet the shade tree and the AC, and I say wait until at least temperatures are 50 degrees or above when all the insects are able to, before you do your leaf cleanup. And so if there's a way moving forward that we can coordinate and schedule so that what our commissions are saying and suggesting could also be just followed and practiced, but like a model, like I'm saying, best practices that the borough is also doing as well.
Following that theme, because basically people clean up because it should look neat.
Right.
And we think messy is better. And I have the same thing with the curb line, like along the street line, I have grass growing. I actually think it's a filtering agent for slowing stormwater and absorbing stuff. There's water coming down my street, it hits all my grass along the curb line. That's against everybody's neat freak, way, and I don't know, is it better? I mean, I haven't found anything yet on that area. But I certainly think that we do want to talk about better versus neat.
Right.
And sometimes things that are better aren't neat.
Right.
And live with a little bit of brush, like right now I'm reading the same thing to trim back all, clean up the
Right, the
garden.
heads, right, the dead
Yeah.
heads and all those.
Yeah,
different
everything
things,
is
right.
still there. What I'm gonna do is dump it on my pile, my compost pile, because I don't put out. But still, at the end of the day, I think it's better to leave it in place, right, if we can. But I think everybody has this fascination with
Right.
showplace look, right? So I don't know, I mean, it's something to think about in terms of education.
Right.
so can I just react to what you shared? The 50, or Kelly, what you just said, the 50 degrees, did we put something out that said?
So Nick actually sent something to both Christy sent it to Leah and Begani and I from a Shade Tree, and Shade Tree she had already made something that said, don't forget to leave your leaves until it's above 50 degrees, recommended to allow all the wintering insects to do their thing, and then, before you brush them out, and then they're dead. And so.
And not to mention our pickup is until April,
No,
Right.
it came out today, by the town,
March 28th is
no, March 14th.
that's today.
To the 30th, yes, Susan, right?
So I have to say, as somebody who's on personally
Yes. You were gonna say that.
with Sean, that the pushback was from the landscapers.
Right.
Who wanted to be able
Correct.
to come in earlier and get cleaned up before the grass starts growing. So you've got pushback from one part, and plus the people who like their leaves, their lawns pristine. Now, all you have to do is come to my house and you can see a non-pristine lawn.
Well, there you go. We're gonna give you a commendation. That's what we're gonna do.
Right, but should we be and this is a question, like, should the borough, do we accommodate the landscapers, or do we accommodate what we wanna do better?
Well,
Kelly, if I can just provide some fidelity, because I've been intimately close to this, right? The landscaper piece, it wasn't to accommodate necessarily the landscapers. It was that by accommodating requests from residents to have greater time to clean up, there was costs being passed on to the homeowner because of the landscaper's schedule, right? So
Right.
what was happening was because landscapers need to clean a property before they start cutting it, and there's a certain sequence of that. what was happening was because of the previous schedule, there was a cost being passed on to a significant number of households because the residents were carting it away by having the ability to allow to get rid of it per spring clean out. So that was that specific reason. I see you shaking your head. If you wanna,
I would suspend all leaf pickup permanently forever. That's me. I have a compost pile. I say this every time we talk about
Yes,
that.
yes.
How many gallons of diesel are we blowing
I
out
know.
to move leaves out of town?
And they're natural
And
fertilizer.
they're natural fertilizer, and I
And
guess
then
I'm
we
a
spend-
broken
we
record,
don't
I have to keep saying
spend
it again.
Money on regular.
But everybody
fertilizer
like-
for
Guys,
fertilizer and lawn because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
shoot
yeah,
that.
They can
yeah.
suspend
I
it
can
tomorrow.
totally
and don't
appreciate,
affect it.
I can totally appreciate that, but there's also certain practicalities that we have to find, right? And so
Right,
if there,
education, this is all part of education,
100%.
motivate, facilitate, change practices.
So,
It's fine, right? So,
Drew, I appreciate
The
completely.
strategy was to coordinate so those who choose could leave their leaves and have their lawn services come or
Like
have
it-
the town come.
it's still not a bad thing to just have an open
Just-
conversation and see if it could be, you know.
I of course appreciate Drew's situation, and it is one of the luxuries of not being in office that I can just say what I want, so. No, I get you 100%, it's just, gotta keep saying it, the Lorex has gotta speak,
Right.
you know.
and Kelly, just so you know,
I think it's-
whoever else is talking about, the Brush and Leaf Committee is meeting again tomorrow to talk about additional changes and things that we could do. So if there is specific items of feedback that you have, Susan's on that committee, feel free to pass it to her, pass it to me, because we're gonna go through another round of changes, right? The approach that we always take is no ordinance is perfect, so
Okay,
I'll put that out there too for you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Because, you know, and this goes into like something that we talked about, and another thing is how we can generate more information, right? We are not here to give, you must not fertilize this, you must not that, but here's some education, these are some ideas, these are some
Absolutely.
better practices, right? We're all about
Yeah.
education, just put it out there and let the homeowner decide,
Well, and the
right?
other thing is encourage.
Encourage, right,
Right.
like motivate, educate, motivate, right? Facilitate
Absolutely.
and collaborate. I like that.
Yeah.
But, we took it from the wrong thing, their taglines,
What?
educate, facilitate, motivate, and the silent C, collaborate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, we are here to try to figure out, you know, how to educate, and I think that there's a lot of stuff that we can work on just to provide for homeowners and for landscapers, you know, as well, to help with understanding, you know, different.
So do we give homeowners a date and say, you know, April 24th is the day that historically, I happen to know that April 24th is historically never below 45 degrees because the racing tires on my car cannot be run under 45 degrees. So that's when the car comes out of hibernation. But the point is, if we tell them April 24th is the date that, you know, it's never, you know, historically is never below 50 degrees. That's the day you should pick up your leaves. If you would like to get them picked up beforehand, then you get them picked up beforehand, but it's better for the environment. And then someone like me who has a landscaper but loves not to pay him, I'll just tell him not to do my leaves.
Right.
So
That's all you can really do.
So I think what you two are tasked with is coming up with these examples and helping us be proactive. Like, so what should we be doing? Should we be doing something like what John just said as an example? Like, and that's a campaign that we run through Betty. There's, you know, some imagery around it. We do it through Green Team.
Shade Tree is already on board.
Well,
But we're trying to react to it now, but I'm saying like, that's a great
Right.
example of where we have to have an opinion. What's it say? We have an opinion
Mhm.
and we should share it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm fine with that.
And here's
That's
the
our,
reasons why.
and that's our
Right.
role,
Mhm.
to share that. Now, I don't think we should make it look like it's a conflict with what the city services are.
Right.
It's an alternative, like you put it in that context. And
Is
So
there
yeah.
still leaf pickup, like cleanup from your committee standpoint, Susan, like that would be available the last week in April?
I'm just looking, yes, zones 3 and 4 don't get picked up until April. That's why I thought. it
Yeah,
was April.
our pickup starts on April
Yeah, so zone 3 and 4 pickup is April 14th, which is very different than March 14th.
Okay,
So-
well, right, so zones 1 and 2 is like, you better get it out the next week.
2 days.
So the strategy was to have a meeting and see what kind of synergy between the schedules and best practices.
And
we could
perhaps-
identify, and then tactically go into whatever we think is feasible. So
So
you would
I'd
ask
love-
for
So
strategies.
come tomorrow night.
I can't.
I can't, it's some play, it's no way, my daughter.
But I would say for you guys, I think this is a great opportunity to kind of break up property management into some, and maybe you want to touch on what we talked about this week.
Yeah,
But touch on some topics that are cyclical,
Mhm.
leaf pickup.
Right.
and like leave the leaves, right, in the fall, right? Just encourage people to leave the leaves and you don't have to have fall cleanup perhaps and have a pristine, before the snow
Is
happens.
anybody just
If we go
annoyed
back
with
to
the
this
sound?
document, remember we had these.
Oh, the sounds, don't even get me
These
started.
topics,
Listen,
Susan, by
everybody's gotta live
by
in
That's
season.
what we were doing.
But once you hear it, you cannot unhear it.
And
Because you had
so,
asked for
For the
strategy.
blowers
You know,
in February.
think about a
it's like
timeline.
And then tactically we could.
Well, it's
No,
always the thing, it's always the thing, what about things I don't like, I don't bother.
yeah, but leaf blowers in February.
Yeah, I know. Private property.
So anyway, it's not, is it private property when the noise is everywhere
It's a
though?
good question.
You know,
It is
it's-
a good question.
It's,
I'm a very proactive believer
was, like,
in leaving
one
people alone.
Sunny day.
and
2
it's
weeks
like,
ago.
is it private property when you're like cutting microplastics and it's blowing into your property? Like, it's just like, where
That's
does
a good
that?
question, it's an ethical question.
It is.
Right.
Mhm.
Actually.
So,
Hey, Sean, can I just correct the record for just with the
Go
pickup?
ahead, Drew.
Zones 1 and 2, you can put out between 14 March and 30 March. The pickup is 31 March, right? So it gives residents 2 full weeks to take care of their site. And then 3 and 4, putting out is between March 31st and April 13th, with pickup on the 14th, starting
That's
that
right.
week. So just wanted to highlight the actual dates and how much time is there.
and so my question, Susan, for the brush and leaf, could that be pushed back a week or 2 weeks or anything amenable? Like,
But
is
why? Why change the schedule?
Pollinators.
pollinators? Because the 14th is not below, everything is picked up by
But
April
that's
14th.
fine, like, I think that's what
But
that's
that's
what
the
I'm.
thing, can it be picked up after that?
Well, we have changed.
Because I might not want to put it out.
Guys, that's a
April
conversation
24th,
for,
when John Palinetti says that it's not above, and it's finally safe.
Are these the only pickup, are
That's what I'm
there pickups
asking.
after April?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
not- we're getting.
But
really-
Drew made that clear with the
We're getting
landscapers.
really tactical, so I.
But Susan, is there more leaf pickups in May? No, see, that's it. So I'm just wondering, can spring cleanup be pushed back? I'm just saying not this year, but I'm saying next year. Is there leeway to push it back a week or two so that you can get to, yeah.
If they have a landscaper, the grass will begin to grow at 50 degrees.
What? I'm sorry.
If they have I'm sorry.
So that's where but I think rather than have it like this, that's where we're looking for you guys to put
Right,
some ideas
well, just
down.
right,
I
like,
think John Polinetti should parade whenever he decides it's 50+.
great.
He's
Go
gonna
grab
take
up
the
your
race car out.
car.
Parade to town
No.
as a way to the sign on the back that says, put out your leaves. You're right.
And everyone gets picked up that 1 week.
Well, I'm just
right?
saying, right,
And
John,
then
because you're gonna be
it's-
the temperature maven.
No,
You're like
no,
a
but the
groundhog.
yeah, I'm the groundhog. No, but the point is exactly what Drew brought up, because I deal with Foxworth landscaping all the time, and the truth is the grass starts to grow at the same time as when you're asking to have the leaves stay. So if the grass starts to grow at 50 degrees and we're picking up leaves at 50 degrees, the landscaper now he's got leaves in his way and he doesn't have time to get all the leaves out of the way so he can start cutting grass. Because
Well, we're
grass is
gonna
going to grow by the end of April.
No Mow May campaign.
Yeah.
A no pickup, no mow campaign.
No Mow May, I mean, we'll just keep it going. No, it's late and I'm winning.
So, March, could you guys come back and present
Present to.
to us?
We are March, it is March.
Sorry.
April.
April.
That's where we all are. Mentally.
I could use another month. You want to give me another month? I could use another month on my account.
Are we doing strategies or tactics?
No, I think we're gonna go.
Because I lost those.
Are we-
That was one
think we have to-
strategy. We had another strategy to talk about, but do you want to do it the next meeting?
Yeah,
We could talk more about that, I think, we could talk to Susan.
Because this was decisions.
So the idea was that each partnership was gonna take, I had like a set of questions
Mhm.
for each partnership to work on. And one of it was to just put your own thumbprint on it, you know, what are the objectives within that area that we wanna focus on? Are we addressing like citizen issues, resident issues, are we addressing conflicts like this around leaves? But that's what we're trying to pull together, so we can have a more proactive conversation about this going forward.
Great.
So Anna and John presented one last month that, you know, they had their ideas down. They had some areas of focus they wanted to drill down on further. And they're off and running. And then John, you and
question. You're not gonna get much out of me, but I'll.
Jesse, we're gonna be looking at the shoreline.
Okay, very good.
So that's the idea here is, and we drive the agenda, and so. Very good. It comes from us.
You want to open up to public? Are we ready to adjourn?
Yeah, I'm good with that. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, next month.
Can I just, before next month is April, so just to put on everyone's,
Yeah.
this Love Where You Live Day is Sunday, April 27th from 1 to 4 at Willow Street in McCarter Park. The EC does have a table, so depending on what we want to do there, whether it's ERI, whether it's something else, I don't know, depending on what we want to present, so just,
Think about it,
yeah, and then, I'll have, Christy, would you mind sending out like a sign up genius or something again? Thank you.
Yes.
You know, we could break up the shifts, but it's gonna be a great time, a lot of
And Kelly,
communities.
you're good to go from a DPW police perspective, right? Nothing else?
Police, we're good to go. I'm waiting to hear back. I have been in touch with Chris York about, A, our green team budget for that day, and B, about DPW and who's covering the overtime for the tables.
Okay, if you need anything from me, just let me know.
Yeah, he's meeting with Nancy tomorrow.
I think the natural area is planning their cleanup that weekend as well. It's gonna be Saturday and Sunday mornings,
Okay. Great.
and they're aware of
Mhm.
the sharing of the Sunday.
Okay.
All right, open to the public. Anyone with comments? Now is your chance. Susan, you're good. Thank you.
Can I just say, I'm glad to announce that I got my lifetime clamming permit at age 62 that expires in 2105. They give you an 80-year permit. I'm like, I hope I can get close, but obviously I'm very excited that the
That's
river is
awesome.
cleaner and we can clam in the river.
That's great.
That is great.
That's $2, by the way. There are a few values left in the state of New Jersey. You want a clamming license, anybody above 62,
Yeah.
$2.
You
So
have to be above 62?
well, you get one in the annual, it's $2 annually, but this is for life, it goes to 2105.
Wow.
Who else has an expiration at anything that's
2105, I don't know. You
There
do.
is a public comment online.
Oh, please.
Thanks.
Seth?
Hi, Stephanie Adams, 230 Oxford. I'll keep it real quick. Congratulations, John, on your clamming license. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And so the first, I wanted to touch base with you on the Sustainable Jersey application, just because I remembered that you were interested in an innovative action that was looking
Yes.
at emission savings with all the biking that we do in town. And I thought that was such a great idea. So if there's any way that I can help with that, or, you know, just to let me know.
All right, I'm gonna circulate to the committee, I'll send it to Christie, I already did the carbon footprint impact per year and also a proposed sign. Saying, you know, in the last 15 to 20 years, this is what bike to school has saved in terms of carbon footprint. We're just arguing, do you put it in pounds or tons? Probably pounds, because it makes it look a little more interesting. But
Great.
that's good, thank you, I appreciate that. And the other piece, you know, this is the kind of thing that maybe we should talk about how we should better quantify bike and walk to school.
Right,
Yeah.
'Cause I think that's an innovative thing to really talk about that as a more profound experience
Yeah.
than just, 5 points. I don't know, I guess 10
no,
or
you're
5.
right, but like that I can also see step two, like, that would be an amazing thing where you can talk and present the whole aspect of it at like the Sustainable Jersey Conference, right? Like that
Yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, an amazing thing that our town does on so many levels, like community, safe routes to school, but then also carbon footprint and how long we've been doing this and what it has saved.
Yeah, no, and I think it's
And
important to
right now.
reinforce with the parents, the kids like it,
Yeah.
and I think it's a good way to
That
kind
would
of
be a great
keep up the
paper and,
idea
like,
and keep it in front of
presentation.
people. So maybe we could also talk about putting together a sign.
Yeah,
I'll show you the verbiage, and I don't know who's the
Great.
design people.
I can-
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Susan's way more talented than I am, but I can also help with that. And to that end, congratulations to Susan and Anna and Jesse and everyone who worked and John on the ERI. It looks amazing. I hope that you bind up a copy and put it in the library. I think that would be such a great thing for residents to have access to. And then finally, I just wanted to thank you all again for having Quinn. I really he appreciated as well your thoughtful comments and your offers to assist. But definitely get the ERI in the library.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Um,
Yeah, no, I'll send it around.
that could be also a good topic for Love Where You Live Day, but I just see like that, other communities should know about.
If we get the
what we do here
graphics,
and
done-
what
if you get the
see.
graphics done, I can get it printed, okay? So the
Okay.
key thing is to just get it to me, if we can get it so we can bring it, and then explain the methodology.
Sure.
We can have a poster that explains the methodology.
The town should know. I mean, a lot of, it's gotten way less kids are biking to school.
Is that true?
Growing
Yes.
up here for sure. There's way more.
Look at the line, it's.
It was never like that.
During.
It's better now?
No.
It's not, because it was 600.
My kids bike every single day. I've learned my lesson that you just don't from where I am located. And we bundle up and we were in the entire January and February, we had the entire bike rack. We called it the Flanagan Bike Rack. We were the only ones using that bike rack. And now it's gotten better, but there's like during winter and.
Yeah, it was like,
So why is it dropping off, you think? Just the
I
parents?
just don't think people understand that it was like part of the fabric
Well-
of being here.
Well, the other
But-
part is maybe we can do a historical sign and also do like, why don't you?
Right.
Have you considered biking to school?
Or
like-
incent them to by giving them through the schools some kind of award for numbers.
Right. Like I'd like a Twinkie, like a boxing
Or,
Twinkie.
you know, like.
Something healthy.
Is there
healthy
anything
snack.
such as bad weather or just poorly dressed, right? Like, so you just, we would be wearing our our neck turtles and gaiters and our ski
Yeah.
stuff, riding down Third Street, our eyes tearing because of how cold it is, but like, we just did it.
Yeah,
And,
there's
like,
just no alternative.
and thankful for it because these kids need fresh air in the morning.
And
Well,
how
and-
about e-bike?
And I do.
Yeah, well, I already have the calculations based on the Bay Area Rapid Transit model, so I'll send it around and you can take a look at it. And again, the question just would be, what would be the graphical package to go with it? Because I have the numbers, but what
And
should it look like?
you know, so the Green Team usually does every year too, the Safe Routes to School and Bike to School Day through the state. And we didn't have people power enough headway to do it in the fall, but we're hoping to do in the spring. But I wonder if there's incentives, encouragements, more updated data about this. And it could be just like more of a community awareness event too, and be like, there's a reason.
I'll work on the history idea because like the transition day between Norwood and, Sickles and Norwood is like, it's a bike-based activity in the schools, right? That you ride your bike between, and everybody does it, everybody.
It's
this
still
way.
bike.
It's kind of, in my opinion, it's a little like chicken and egg. It's what came first. Was it parents were worried about their kids biking to school because of the safety, so they drove them, but that actually caused it to be like a little more
Mhm,
unsafe.
right.
Like these big cars are on the roads sharing them with
No,
little
no.
kids. And I think if less people drove, then parents would see that more kids are biking because it's not so much of a threat of like a giant Cadillac.
No, we got the street
Guys,
closed,
we,
2006, 2008.
all right, close meeting, you
Yeah.
guys can keep talking about it, that's great.
No worries.
Close meeting. Yep, thank you, I'll send around the data. We are adjourned.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys, for joining online. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
I feel like I've seen some good like comparison or like reduction graph